This really pissed me off that day because Samsung spent so long talking about how strong the front and back glass is, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then just for it to only get scratched by some keys in my pocket. What? It's that time of the year again where all tech YouTubers are talking about their phone of the year. I'll get straight to the point and tell you that the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra wins my phone of the year. Let's start off easy and talk about the battery life I've been getting on this beautiful phone. From day one, I've been getting between 7 to 8 hours of screen on time, which I would consider really good. If your phone is getting that amount of screen on time, then is considered amongst one of the better phones with battery. Samsung doesn't discriminate with the battery performance they give you. You can be doing light, heavy, medium tasks all day, but you still end up getting 7 to 8 hours of screen on time. Nothing below, nothing above, nothing in between. I would say that the battery on my S22 Ultra has been quite consistent for me. I always run battery tests on the devices that I get, and the S22 Ultra has been no exception for me. I started off the day at 10 AM on a cold February morning with 100% battery. I turned on my Wi-Fi, LTE and my Bluetooth, and my girlfriend and I both went out for the day. We both basically went out for the whole day and came back around 9 PM. My S22 Ultra had 13% battery left. This ain't even a case of, oh, I'm a light user, blah blah blah, I didn't push my phone to the max. I did push my S22 Ultra to its limit because you have to realize this was a battery test on that day, so I did as much as possible. So I did as much as I could to kill the battery, but it still did not die. I took a lot of photos, videos, my screen brightness was fluctuating between 80 and 100%. I even used Google Maps for over an hour and I still had 13% left in my tank. All this battery performance is mainly thanks to the massive 5000 mAh battery found in the S22 Ultra, and this paired with its new battery saving display came to no shock to me that it had such good battery performance. Owning the S22 Ultra for months and months, Samsung has pushed out some updates that are quite questionable. They did impact my battery health quite a lot, not my battery health but my battery performance quite a lot, and I was struggling. There was months where I was struggling to hit 4 or 5 hours of battery life. How I even went from getting 7 to 8 hours of screen on time to struggling to get 5 hours is actually beyond me. I have no idea how Samsung managed to mess updates up that bad, but they need to look at themselves. Hi, I'm going to interrupt the video for a sec, just a quick second to remind you that I've got links down below in the description, and if you use those links to make a purchase, it helps the channel out tremendously, so thank you. Now, the month of November, where most people have gotten the One UI 5 update, battery shouldn't be a massive worry to you because the One UI 5 update did not mess up my battery on my S22 Ultra. To conclude this section of my video, how has the S22 Ultra served me in terms of battery wise in the months I've used it? I would say it's been quite good and consistent, but it still isn't there with the Pixel 7 Pro because that is the only phone that's actually cured my battery anxiety. Samsung still hasn't cured that problem where the last 15% of its battery drains like a balloon with a massive hole in the middle, because as soon as I get that 15% battery notification, my heart drops because I just know my phone isn't going to last another 30 minutes. I talked more about this on my previous video, so if you want to watch that, the link will be in the description. Now let's get serious and talk about the software Samsung ships with their flagship devices in 2022. But before we do, if you're this far into the video, then it means you're enjoying it, so hitting that subscribe button down below will show your appreciation. I really do appreciate it. The Galaxy S22 Ultra will come with One UI 5, which is Samsung's most recent skin on top of Android 13. I'll go straight to the point and tell you, if you care about the fluidity and overall smoothness of your phone, then there are countless other better options in the market because the S22 Ultra does not shine in that aspect at all. One UI has been Samsung's most stable software skin on top of Android for years now. You rarely ever find bugs, and it's the most customizable skin or even operating system in the world right now. One UI has great functionality. It's great if you have small hands and want to navigate your big phone with some ease, which is where the name One UI comes from because it's great for one-handed use. But there's something missing for me to officially call this software an A+ software. That something is, well, something that Apple has been doing since the first ever iPhone, and that is the overall fluidity, smoothness and efficiency of your operating system or software. You can have the best hardware in the world, but if you have software that doesn't match or doesn't allow you to interact with that hardware seamlessly, then what is the point? I've always said that great software is better than great hardware, because you can have great software and inferior hardware, but you still have a good experience. But if you have great hardware, what's the point of having that whilst having a lacking or a underwhelming software experience. The word fluidity was not even in the dictionary of One UI 4.1. That software was the most stuttering mess I've ever seen. It lagged at every corner you could think of. Something as simple as just swiping down from the notification panel was just a struggle for my S22 Ultra. Samsung managed to stabilize things with the update of One UI 5. It did work because the animations are more consistent. You now know what to expect when you, for example, swipe out of an app, or when you open an app, or when you open the control panel. The animation is consistent across the whole board, but there's still something missing, and that is the dropped frames. The frames are still going missing, Samsung. The frames constantly drop. They constantly jitter, lag, but at least the animations are consistent. But we have to keep improving. But come on, you're a multi-billion-dollar company, you can do this. The dropped frames in the animation was the main problem I wanted Samsung to solve first, but unfortunately One UI 5 still hasn't solved it. My S22 Ultra still drops frames here and there and is not as consistent as the Pixel 7 Pro when it comes to keeping its frames in check. I don't even want to get started what happens when the phone heats up on the normal usage. The animations get thrown out the window basically. Like, my S22 Ultra just doesn't know what to do with it anymore. If my phone gets hot and I just try swiping to the home screen, the animations are all over the place. It lags, it comes at like 2 frames per second. It's just so bad, and I just hate when my phone heats up. I just turn it off and let it cool down before I do anything, because I'll end up smashing and throwing my phone to the floor because of how inconsistent and how annoying the laggy animations are. If I start doing anything demanding like video editing, gaming, photo editing that makes the phone heat up, the animations are just terrible. Honestly, I don't know what Samsung is thinking. You might think this is normal because, oh, the phone throttles this, that, but the Pixel 7 Pro doesn't do it. The iPhone 14 Pro Max doesn't do it. My Pixel has gotten really hot when I was setting it up out of the box, but the animations were still consistent, no dropping frames. My Samsung gets slightly hot and the frames just go from 120 Hz like 5 Hz, man. It's so bad. Samsung, fix this. But if we look past all this stuttery, jittery thing, you can see that Samsung does have a really stable user interface, and by stable I mean no bugs are seen. No major bugs as of so far, because I've only had the One UI 5 for a couple of weeks now. But Samsung has a really stable user interface. It's quite functional. It's not over the top with all the bouncy zooming in and out animation that iPhone does. It's classy, but even those classy animations that Samsung has isn't still the best. But if you look past all of that, the S22 Ultra has a decent operating system. So if I had to rate it out of 10, I would give it a 7.5, which is average to decent. The S22 Ultra comes in one of the best hardware you can get in 2022. The front and back are both in Gorilla Glass Victus, and this is surrounded by a stronger foam of aluminium compared to the last year's model of the Galaxy S21 Ultra. What this basically means is that you get a really tanky build. I'm rocking my S22 Ultra with no case or no screen protector. I've dropped it multiple times, as you can already guess, and there has been no cracks or anything on the back and both the front screen. I've dropped it on concrete, tiles and various other materials, and as you can guess, no cracks. The only sign of visible damage from dropping the S22 Ultra is the little cracks at the bottom of my aluminium frame. And the funny thing is, I've dropped my Pixel from a height where I was sat down on concrete, and the first time I ever dropped it, the whole back just shattered. Well, not the whole back, but like there was a massive line throughout the whole back just staring at me when I picked it up and turned it around. I felt so sad that day, man, but the S22 Ultra isn't perfect either. I have a massive scratch on the front of my display, and this came from just the keys in my pocket. This really pissed me off that day because Samsung spent so long talking about how strong the front and back glass is, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then just for it to only get scratched by some keys in my pocket. What? If you're getting any phone nowadays, I highly recommend getting a screen protector because the pain, the heartache is just not worth it. The Galaxy S22 Ultra comes with a matte finish at the back, which is really appreciated because by now everyone should obviously agree that matte finishes are better than glossy finishes. If you don't, then you're a bit weird. Not only does a matte finish look better, it also doesn't attract as much fingerprints as the glossy finish, which enables you to, you know, rock you without a case and be risky like me. All in all, the build quality of the S22 Ultra will get an A from me compared to the A+ I would give, for example, the 14 Pro Max or just in general any phone that comes with a stainless steel border. Samsung, it's 2022, why are you still giving us aluminium? Give us stainless steel. We all know that aluminium is obviously the inferior material to stainless steel. If you're thinking of getting the S22 Ultra, then I'm guessing you're a power user. The S22 Ultra is one of the most powerful smartphones you can get in 2022. It either comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or the Exynos 2200, and what I've noticed is that this year both processors seem to be closer than ever. Over the past couple of years, the Snapdragon has been the processor that outperformed the Exynos, but luckily this year Samsung managed to tighten the gap between the two of them. There has even been claims that the Exynos model outperformed the Snapdragon when it came to battery efficiency and battery life. I've got the Exynos variant and I've already said I'm getting between 7 and 8 hours of battery life. If you'll have a look at other reviews where they have the Snapdragon variant and they tell you the battery life, you can compare the two. If you're into mobile gaming, video editing, photo editing, or you're a heavy user and you want a phone that can match your level of productivity, then the S22 Ultra will be great for you because it's a phone made for power users. It's literally in the name, Ultra. You're an Ultra user, man. I'm not a heavy gamer, but when I first get a phone, I like to test out the claims of processor speed, battery life, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And when I first got the S22 Ultra, I downloaded PUBG, Fortnite, Call of Duty, all these AAA games, all these demanding big games, and I can happily say that they all ran smooth and with no lag or stutter. The phone ran a bit toasty, but come on, that should be expected from all phones. Yes, you have Android phones, yes, you have phones that are better at this than the S22 Ultra, yes, you have phones that are specialized, this, that, but what I'm talking about is that the S22 Ultra is a jack of all trades and it gives you a more rounded experience compared to other flagships and other phones out there. As you've noticed, I haven't really talked much about numbers in this video because I'm giving you my experience, and those numbers aren't really going to reflect much of what you're going to experience in the real world. The processors in the Galaxy S22 Ultra will get an A from me. It's not an A+ because it's still not quite up there with Apple's A Bionic chips, and I'm not talking about the benchmark numbers. I'm talking about video editing and photo editing. There is quite a difference between them two when it comes to export times and stuff, but when it comes to gaming and other different heavy task related things, you ain't really going to notice much of a difference because they both get 60 frames per second in the max settings. The Galaxy S22 Ultra comes with a massive 6.8-inch display that gets super bright and also super crisp. Let's talk about it. As we all know, Samsung makes the best display, which is why they have a monopoly in the smartphone display market. Apple tried to find other display manufacturers to get a cheaper price, but as you've guessed, they never passed Apple's quality control check. The S22 Ultra will definitely not disappoint when it comes to its display. It gets super bright under direct sunlight, which is great and convenient if you live in a city or a country where you get sun every single day. It makes things really readable and easy to see. The panel can go up to 2K or 1440p, but obviously this will drain more battery. It's a 120Hz LTPO display that can go from 120Hz refresh rate to down to 1 Hz to save more battery. This is because if you're doing something like reading an article on Google, or if you're looking at a photo in your gallery, you don't necessarily need your phone to be refreshing 120 times a second, which is why it comes down to 1 Hz, and this saves so much battery. The S22 Ultra also comes with an S Pen that I can use for drawing, taking notes or sketching. It's not something that you'll miss if you haven't got, it's just really convenient to have. It's more than 3 times faster than that on the Note 20 Ultra, and it comes with a latency of only 2.8 milliseconds. All in all, I'll give the display on the S22 Ultra a greatly deserved A+. Not only is it not one of the brightest displays in the market, its color science is also really good, which is why it deserves an A+ from me. In conclusion, why is the Galaxy S22 Ultra winning my phone of the year? It's really simple. It gives you the most rounded experience compared to other phones in the market right now. It's a jack of all trades and meets almost every requirement that I need from a smartphone, which is why I think that most other people will also have the S22 Ultra win their phone of the year as well. Watch this video here to see my comparison between the Galaxy S22 Ultra and Pixel 7 Pro. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter, link in the description, and I'll catch you in the next one.